Okay, I'm actually going to talk a second today because I usually don't talk during these because my husband and kids are in the background. But I'm going to start a new palette because, as you can see, I got bored waiting on my painting to dry, and I just painted on my palette instead. I will say this. I know a lot of people paint two paintings at the same time, and that's great if you keep your space organized enough to have a palette and two pieces of paper. But as you can see, let me just tip this up a little bit for you. Yeah, that's not how I roll. So I have space for one painting and one palette page most of the time. I guess this could be a small painting, and then I could have like a tiny palette, but also not how I do things. And let me just show you the other paintings that I've done on palettes recently while we're here. So this was one that I did recently, and that was another one that I did recently. And what I'll do is I'll cut these usually 8x8 and buy a 16x16 matted frame, and I'll sell them for about, I don't know, $35 or something like that. I sold two for $55 recently. So, all right, let's get to it. This painting is basically just a whole bunch of backgrounds, and I'm out of my 240-pound paper right now. So I'm on recycled Bristol, which is sort of getting warped, but I'll give you a good hack for that. Once you're done with this, spray the back of it real lightly and lay it down flat with a bunch of heavy flat objects on the back, and possibly a smoother surface than that if you can. I'll usually use a poster board, but then just let it dry for like an hour, and then it will be perfectly flat. So that's always good and fun, and that's a good hack. And of course, my dog is going to want to bark while we do this. Why wouldn't he? I did not spike my coffee today. That's an every other day, every now and then thing, special occasions. So just a Thursday. Tomorrow, I probably will. No, Winston, not today, bruh. Okay, so I don't know where I want to go with this. Started making all these marks and did a whole layer of this glazed, not glazed, but transparent magenta over this last night. It's just really, really, really pink and marked up. And I don't know, I just sort of want to divide it into some sections, and I don't know where to start. So I'm just going to start. How about that? I like to add fun colors like green and orange and yellow to these pink paintings. And this is also a pretty transparent paint. See if I have one that's more opaque, that's green. Let's see. No, but I do like that lime. I'm positive that I have the Nova in this color, but y'all have no idea how hard it is to, holy crap, sorry about that. I just knocked my ring on my shelf over here. You have no idea how hard it is to open these Nova paints. I want to show you one day when we have more time. But let's just get some green on this page. Actually, probably like that green better, but it's too late. And I definitely want to do some of this blue. So this is that ultramarine blue. Y'all, I'm obsessed with that color. And that one is also transparent. This lime green shows semi-transparent. Probably should have used that one. I'm going to put some thick, heavy body white down to mix some stuff with. And I usually do a couple piles because, I don't know, that's just how I do it. And I'm wetting my brush first because I don't want it to be eating up all my paint. So I'm going to make some fun sections in this painting. I tend to go through the same kind of composition in all of my paintings. So because I didn't study art, I don't know what some other ones are. So that's one of my goals this summer, is to figure out some other ways that I can do compositions that look right for people that know how to look at art, because I don't really know how to look at art. I just know I like to look at art. So I like doing fun marks while the paint's still wet. You'll see that in every single painting that I ever do, probably. Just adding some of this blue, and I don't know what I'm going to do with it yet. But it's funny because I'll do all of this, make some fun marks, and then I'll be like, oh, but you know what? It needs some blue in a couple other spots, more solid. than that. So then I'll just like add some to some of the edges, and I don't know if that's just my inner eye or whatever you want to call it, but I end up just always wanting to put some on some of the edges. So that's what I do. Just a teeny bit sometimes. But yeah, so I don't want to really mix the green with the blue, so I'm going to have to be careful. But I'm going to put a little bit of that green down. I'm going to use this big old funky brush. This is a Dina Wakley. Let me just tell y'all, this brush can put up with some stuff, and it's not very expensive. I don't really remember when I got it or how much I paid for it, but I remember, well, two things. I don't pay a lot for paintbrushes, and I remember thinking I got a good deal for this one. I'll just put some white in there now to get some more opaque coverage on this, and I'll come back in later. But because I'm not a well-versed artist yet, I'm not sure what blue and green do together. So I'm trying to be careful. Again, it's one of the things that I want to work on. I'm going to work with Pamela J. Bates again on one of her one-on-one calls. Those are really fun. Y'all should do that. And I'll ask her some of those things because she's learned from practice. She didn't train as an artist either. And so that gives me hope that I'll be able to figure it out without having to go get another degree. My degree now is completely useless. I run a med spa company. Not a med spa company. We sell med spa equipment. And I have a sociology degree, so nothing at all to do with what I do. It does help to have like a little bit of social intelligence, which I think you get a little bit with sociology, but I think I got the most of that, if I'm being honest, by waiting on tables. Let me show y'all what I do sometimes too with a wet paper towel. Yep, if you want to be more emotionally intelligent than you are currently, work in retail and try and keep your job at the same time as you deal with the public, okay? A baby wipe would really work better than this stiff old dried up paper towel from last night. This is sort of just taking off my paint, but that's okay, live and learn. Look, you can get some fun textures with a paper towel. Look at that, that's fun. Okay, I love me some fun little textures, like it looks like you used a stamp or a stencil or something. I'm gonna do a couple more of those down here and more intentionally with some. Yeah, I don't know, I love that. So I'll come back in and blend this other stuff, what I meant to do, once it dries a little bit more. So just don't have any baby wipes with me, but that was another hack I got from another artist, Pamela, I think, actually, too. I just picked up a mark that I made a minute ago that I really liked. I didn't mean to do that. And then I just picked up some paint I really like, and I didn't mean to do that. So it's fun just learning together what things do. That was a palette knife that just crashed onto the floor. I do like some of these scraper tools I have. So these are fun. They have little teeth. And it just takes the paint off just perfectly, razor sharp. I'm gonna do like this and see what it looks like. It actually looks pretty cool. All right, might have to let some of this dry a little bit. Just literally like making sections somehow, some way of colors, and then I come back and just mark all over them. Sometimes they're big sections, sometimes they're small, sometimes there's a lot, sometimes there's hardly any, a couple big blocks. But whatever is inside of me tells me to do it however it ends up. And you know, sometimes I like it, sometimes I don't, sometimes I paint over it. Just really like to see all of the different phases. So I started recording even if I'm not going to post. I like to see all of the different phases, and sometimes I want to go back to an earlier stage in my painting where I painted over what I liked, but I never stepped away from it long enough to see that I would really like it. And so that was another thing I've heard from a lot of different artists is take a break if you don't love it, because a lot of times you'll walk back the next day with fresh eyes and be like, oh, that was cute. I don't know what I'm gonna do with this area here. I watered that paint down a lot, so I'm not in love with it. I don't have any water and white paint and fluid medium mixed up here, or I would spray this right this second. I just have regular water in the water bottle here. I might actually make some of that up before I come back and do more process videos on this piece. And if I forget to do process videos on this piece, I will at least come back and post the final results, and I'll post what I did in my palette, because you know I'm going to paint that palette. And it's so much easier for me. I don't get so nervous about it. It's wild. I don't really want to cover up that blue there. Maybe too late. Let me scratch through some of that. Okay, and I also sort of clean my fingers on my palette. I'm gonna try and figure out what I'm gonna do with this area, because that's kind of driving me crazy. It's not opaque enough, and it's just boring, blah, blah, blah to me. So we shall see. I'm just doing it sort of haphazardly, and then I'll come back and think through it some more once I have some fun layers in this. Right. Yeah, I need to let that dry. Carrie, trust your intuition here. Let this dry with some fun textures underneath. That's one thing, if you paint like this underneath, you can get some good textures when you do come back to it. And I'll tell you what else is good for texture is a really dry, junky, scruffy brush. Not enough gets said about these kind of brushes. Let's see. Sometimes I name my brushes because it's fun. This one looks like it might be mean if I named it a person, so I'm not gonna do that. But I like her. I like these scruffy little brushes. I wonder if this light would help. I have all these paints in the way. I'll clean up between like every 3 paintings. So you'll see the same colors for about three rolls, and then I'll clean up. I want to mess with that so bad. I don't know if y'all have ever heard the old word agita, but it's giving me agita. Well, we are going to leave that alone, Carrie Ray. We are going to leave that alone. God bless my heart. So hard. I want to figure that out. Can't really see some of these things because, y'all, I'm drinking coffee and it's noon. I have to walk into a bank today. I'm trying to get myself ready. I am not a walk into the bank kind of girl. Honestly, since COVID, I'm not a walk into anywhere kind of girl. I have to make myself do it. Psych myself up like I'm going to be on an interview on Oprah Winfrey or something. It's like you're just going to the bank. Calm down. I love that pink. Leave that alone, Carrie Ray. I would love to hear other artists talk through when they're doing things like this, because it would probably make me feel less crazy than I am. Even though it would just be a little bit of a sham because I am crazy. All right, so these things under here are causing this to be bumpy, and these are just lobs of paint because I've never cleaned this desk. But for right now, I think I'm going to leave it right here and come back to it when I'm not angry at whatever that is. And I promise to keep you updated.